priority on this pick.
And that's something that we saw Palmatori start to lean towards at the later stages of the season, Suijay.
Yeah, for sure. And his Cruel, if they play this right, is able to shut down the Glaive. And here, I don't think they should ban Grace. They should let Nova ban Grace. So they should probably take Voxway or something that is probably good into Cruel, or maybe take the Vox if they want.
Something like
so they should ban Idris,
Kestrel,
for example, or they're going to ban Scarf against themselves. So that's really interesting. I don't know if Delphi or Truth have a preference for Scarf.
Either way, Scarf is still a pick that can do really well against a Krull. Krull can, if he gets onto the Scarf, can do a lot of work with getting those weakness stacks, but the Spitfire can keep him at bay. But Idris and Grace are both still going to be available.
I mean, one thing that the Scarf ban could lend towards is earlier today we've seen teams struggling to get that first turret, and often the first turret is indicative of who wins the game, who controls the mid game. Scarf is one of those wave clear mages in the mid lane. If something like a Celeste is picked up here, that could lend to having that early aggression and being able to take a turret early and not having the wave clear on the enemy side.
And there's going to be the Grace coming through. That's going to provide a lot of sustain for this Krull, assuming Krull's going to be in the front lines, trying to get in the face of whatever carry Nova selects. Having the Grace there with an Echo, able to keep him alive for so long, you need to find something that can apply mortal wounds on the side of Nova. If they do make this a weapon Kestrel, you could get the Poison Shiv on it, but it's not really recommended. I would actually really like to see Nova maybe go with the weapon Kestrel in the lane, kind of a jungle utility glaive, and then maybe pick up a Fortress as the captain here.
Yeah, with Kestrel being picked up here, I think Arden will probably be the best option, or even Captain Baptiste. Honestly, they're going to pick up Baptiste here because it makes sense. That's a comp that Nova has played. There's a lot of CC with the Ordain and a Glaive Afterburn combo. So I do see a Baptiste picking up, and then Fnatic will probably pick up the CP Idris here. And that's a really strong comp, honestly, from both sides in this draft.
Yeah, so far it's looking very strong. This is the first time we're seeing Kestrel today across the course of the day. Honestly, that first series of the day, I feel like not that relevant to the meta that we've seen in this tournament so far. This series definitely leaning back towards these staple picks.
Yeah, this is kind of what we've seen, what we expect. The Baptiste does come out for Nova, and as Suijay has mentioned, that disengage that you can have with the Baptiste. When Krull and Grace try and jump in on you, if you can land a Fearsome Shade, not only does it force the enemy team away, buy you a little bit of time, that's enough time for Kestrel to then go into active camo and set up some traps.
I like the Celeste pick here because range counters Baptiste, because they'll probably jungle the Baptiste, but since they pick Celeste now, I don't know if they're going to jungle Baptiste. They made Captain Baptiste. They can actually switch it up because they can flex it, but they may just go Weapon Kestrel and CP Baptiste here. But I think the best option for Nova, honestly, is probably go lane, a lane Kestrel and a lane Glaive and a Captain Baptiste, and just go double weapon to burst the Celeste down.
Well, we'll have to see which direction they want to go with this composition. That's one of the strengths coming in for this team as well, is if you're in Fnatic's shoes, you also don't know which direction they're going to take this one, but we'll have to see. We're about to find out which direction they take it, as it's time to head into Game 2 of this second quarterfinal.
Thank you very much for insightful words, guys. Game number 2, Nova versus Fnatic. Nova now up 1 game. Now, Fnatic, they had pretty good moments in this early start of the game. Got 3 kills on the board, but Nova then just kind of took over.
I think the composition from Nova was just that much better in the last game. Fnatic have kind of evened things up. They found their own counter picks this time round, but they need to win this game. They need to get back into the series. It's going to be big.
It's going to be big. You can hear the crowd already behind us. Got those clackers. I can barely hear myself think. I don't know what the players are thinking either. They're going for it. I love it.
Absolutely. This is a big game. Nova, one of the very endearing organizations of the North American scene, is currently 1-0 up against one of the teams that has dominated Europe in some way, shape or form over the last few months. And against some of the legends of the Vainglory esports scene as well. Palmatori, Techno JJ, Netbaguette. Never get her that's an alt account, actually, that someone's got.
Never get. Well, he's a Frenchman after all.
So, Starboy here, being forced back by Grace Nettoilette coming through. Grace used to be able to do this much more readily, but with the nerfs to her movement speed, makes it a little bit more risky to run straight into the enemy jungle, but happy to do a little bit of work early on here for Fnatic.
Yeah, no weapon Grace either this time.
No, thank God.
Thank God. So explain to me the reasons why that is good or bad.
I think Weapon Grace is okay. Like, it has its certain position, but all she deals is an engage with a bit of burst damage, but she's very slow. It's very hard to get the main portion of her weapon power scaling off as well in teamfight situations. I feel that she's far better suited doing what she does best, which is having that echo, divine intervention, providing protection for the team, getting the cooldown reduction necessary to continually keep those holy shields up. There are just better picks for me than Weapon Power Grace. If I wanted to play Weapon Power Grace, I'd just say, why don't I just play Weapon Power Glaive instead, for instance?
You can heal yourself. That's what I do. Just jump in, tension bow, hopefully kill someone. If not, hit your ult yourself, and then you die. That's probably why I'm not Vainglory, by the way. TotalJJ on this Kestrel, though, up against Truth. Already taking a mean bit of damage. Now, uh-oh, hang on a minute. Lone Delphi's in trouble. Netwiller and Palmatoro chasing him up. This could be first blood again to Fnatic. If they can find it, Palmatoro can't quite finish him off. Too early on the smite there was Palmatoro, but again, some good use of potions by Lone Delphi gets him out and into the lane, happily escaping. TotalJJ took a bit of punishment early on there from Truth, but the CS won't tell you much difference between the two of them. They are very, very even. It's interesting that you do see Lone Delphi taking the CP Batiste here. He is going to get outclassed by TotalJJ on this Celeste as the range increases, especially post level 8. I maybe would have liked to see Starboy pilot his very, very patented Echo Captain Batiste, because the disengage is going to be incredibly key against the likes of Palmatoro and Netwiller. You're going to get less efficacy, I think, out of the CP Batiste here, and then you could have had Starboy on the weapon power, sorry, you could have had Lone Delphi on the weapon power Glaive to provide a threat to TotalJJ. Just dive in, pressure him as the weapon power Glaive. You could have snowballed quite easily from that. This time round, you're actually, I think, playing into Fnatic's hands a bit more by having Starboy on the Roam Glaive, unless you're just consistently looking to find afterburns onto TotalJJ, especially once the Echo comes down. Well, Lone Delphi's going to get spotted out again. Fnatic, very proactive play. No sleeping on the job. That's not what they're doing right now. Lone Delphi does end up taking the cap, however, but Starboy and Lone Delphi's CC combo is what I'm trying to find. CC combo, they actually mentioned it on the desk. The Ordained with the Afterburn is such a horrible thing to play into. You've got to imagine, if TotalJJ gets anywhere close to them, he's going to be as good as dead, and that's where Netwiller is really going to come into his element. Fnatic making a move now up towards this lane. Starboy's going to walk into two of them. However, Afterburn very quickly away, didn't even take a single basic attack. Although Palmatoro staying around, Lone Delphi taking a fair bit of damage. There comes the Ordained. Netwiller going in as well, and that's a beautiful smite. And Palmatoro will find first blood. Fnatic, again, one of these teams from Europe that actually manages to get some sort of early advantages. They just seem to lose it in the mid-game. People always say about Europe is that they're very hard for them to capitalize on advantages, and that's been the case in the first game of this series here for Fnatic. Absolutely. Well, 3 kills in about 4 or 5 minutes. Like, this is the big thing Fnatic need to do, just keep the ball rolling. Nova turned that gold lead around without an issue, just shrugged it off, no worries. We lost a couple of deaths, not a problem. We're just going to focus objectives. We saw them, couldn't push the turret, not a problem. We're just going to go straight for that Crystal Sentry, we're going to secure that, and at least then later on we won't have to deal with it either. Fnatic, not so much. Got 3 kills, and again, they kind of play back a little bit too safe, maybe. They're still keeping a bit safe. Nova looking. TotalJJ, Glimmer shots are good. Starboy can't quite find the kill. Core Collapse is going to be there as well. Holy Nova as well. TotalJJ going very low. They do end up trading. Truth and Netwiller now battling it out. Can't find the kill on each other, but Palmatoro is here as well. He's going to flare out the stealth Kestrel. No problem. No active camo trap's going to be there, but the smite's going to finish him off. Truth finds a kill, gets the Sora Blade up, but Palmatoro hit that tension bow item spike. The burst damage you saw was very real onto Truth, and Palmatoro now at 2-0-0 has an opportunity to look for capitalizing on this mid game. You've got the Frostburn there for TotalJJ. It makes targets more accessible for Palmatoro. You're not at the stage in the game where you're going to get shut down over and over again by the disengage from Lone Delphi. Lone Delphi not actually level 6 yet, so you have a small opportunity, a small window where you can maybe look to use this and try and capitalize on your item spike of this tension bow. Very unlike an EU team to do so, but if anyone can do it, Fnatic are the team. Who can do it? Fnatic can. I can't remember what football chant that is back in the UK, but I'm sure someone will remind me. Now Fnatic, they hit that power spike, or can you remember? Is it like Fnatic, he's our man, if he can't do it, no one can? Yeah. There you go. Yeah, there you go. That's the one. That's the one I was looking for. You aren't wrong, though. TotalJJ does have that Frostburn on board now, like you said, and that tension bow for Palmatoro, so this is the opportunity they need to use. They got Fountain. There you go. Whoa, oh, that was big. Core Collapse as well. Look at the deletion. But the disengage was huge. Benedict onto Truth, can't quite find the kill, and now he's just going to get repositioned. Nova with the re-engage after the Fearsome Shade.
Netwallet didn't even get the opportunity to use his fountain there. A wonderfully timed fountain from Starboy, baiting Netwallet back into there, and then Starboy capitalizes with that afterburn, and suddenly, again, Nova look to come back from the early deficit that Fnatic put them in. They're accelerating ahead in gold ever so slightly, about 400 in their favor. They're cleaning up some of the Fnatic jungle. But Fnatic will be looking to scale as best they can. They do have a Celeste, remember, that gives them a late game out card if they can make it happen. You saw that they managed to get that chain CC working, but didn't quite judge their burst damage enough so to kill Truth.
Oh, he was on inch of health as well. Activated that reflux block just a second too late. Actually got caught by the From Hell's Heart. Then the shield went away, and then Core Collapse hit him as well. So Fnatic doing a really good job on that front, but like you said, the burst damage wasn't there. Speaking of burst, however, Lone Delphi has picked up that Shatterglass, so already on the board. And you said, yeah, maybe a little bit outclassed later on, but right now, he's going to be able to make an impact with those bad mojos.
Starboy's got a bit of cooldown reduction and an energy battery in his inventory, wondering where, if he's going to go towards a Echo or even towards maybe a Clockwork.
Oh, Palmatoro finds him again, and late once again. That's going to be another chain bit of CC. Fist of Chain's going to come through, but it's not going to matter. Palmatoro underneath the turret now is going to get finished off, so the storm goes a little bit wide. Starboy taking a bit of damage. Netwallet on the back line as well. He's going to take a bad mojo. 1-for-1 trade yet again. Starboy's been very good at hitting these afterburns.
Oh, Starboy has been the saving grace for Nova here. Every time that Fnatic look for an engage, Starboy always makes sure that it turns in Nova's favor. If it wasn't turning it in their favor completely, a 1-for-1 in this scenario. And the Glaive working out great targeting as well from the afterburns, making sure he's basically isolating a target straight into the Ordained, keeping them stuck under that turret.
Oh boy, the damage is really online, but Truth, I've got to say, that is literally round 2 that's happened. Throws the From Hell's Heart in, misses the reflex block, and then gets hit by Core Collapse. Poor Truth. Did end up surviving though, so he's all good.
I reckon Starboy will go very quickly towards an Echo. It's a good way of, again, doing what he's been doing in these fights, isolating targets more frequently in these fights. I think the energy battery is more likely there simply just to alleviate some of Glaive's early energy problems, because you can often use a lot of energy by using your afterburn over and over again. Looks like he's working towards a Crucible though, which I think is a very important item to have in this scenario. You need to be able to block the CC. If Truth's not quite there, blocking that instant CC, you'll have a backup of the Crucible for Starboy too. And TechnoJJ has now just picked up his Eve of Harvest, so he's his second item on the cards. He's working towards a Clockwork, so taking a leaf out of the Dienzio book and just looking to spam and utilize that range advantage to start to control these fights.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Now, Nova, I'm going to start up that gold mine. It's pretty full, if you ask me. Netwallet's going to be there. Palmatoro on the side. Holy Nova to actually start up one. Can they find it? Solar Storm comes through, but Nova, a chunk health bars, but they aren't able to secure it. It's beautiful Ordained to catch Palmatoro. We'll just launch the disengage for Nova. Still have Fearsome Shade available.
Disengage is still too good from Nova, so Fnatic can't look to capitalize, but another global objective snuck away, and the gold advantage opens up to around 2,000. Fnatic have been very poor on controlling these jungle objectives, like the gold mine specifically. Nova have been able to get those for free across multiple games right now, and that will be coming to bite Fnatic back, because Fnatic have been playing a safer game. It's what they usually like to do, but they're not able to withhold the storm that Nova bring in the mid-game. We saw that the last time round. They do have, again, like we said, we've got the ability to clear waves, and Turtle, with this Celeste, who has now hit level 8, has that range advantage as well.
Well, the Storm might turn into a Supernova later on. It's Truth now picking up his Sora Blade, and the Tyrant's Monocle. He's going to be hitting like a metaphorical truck. Now, the problem is, you said TechnoJJ, yes, he has to scale up into the late game, but Truth and Lone Delphi are going to come online a lot quicker. Ordain's going to come out. It's actually going to stun one. Holy Nova not quite finding anything but minions at this point, but Truth taking a fair bit of damage, and TechnoJJ, now he's winning out on these trades as he's level 8.
Yeah, Truth scales up very nicely on this weapon power Kestrel as well. She's one of the hardest hitting late game weapon power carries. Going for the critical strike build, double Tyrant's Monocle from the Sorrow Blade, so maybe looking for a Glimmer Shot. Focus build, goodness me, TechnoJJ. Huge damage output with that one-shot, one-kill. Force.
Well, there you go.
Forces the Divine Intervention.
Yeah, 60-second cooldown though, so it's a pretty big one with that Echo. Picked up that Crucible second item. Normally we see, you know, honestly, the Echo second item, but with all the CC that Nova have acquired in their draft, I mean, realistically, Netwallet has to go that Crucible. Turret's very low. Palmatoro off to the side. Maybe you want to look for a small engage here. They got a lot of poke. Netwallet going in. Holy Nova is missed, but look at Starboy already finding Netwallet. It's going to go down. Truth now kiting back and just face tanking the damage. from Palmatoro. Now Tenno JJ, last member alive, only sent out the Solar Storm. That was it.
Yeah, unfortunately, you've got to remember that Grace, when she doesn't have a Holy Shield up, is about as squishy as any other carry in the game, almost. Oh! Heliogenesis picks off Truth, shuts down the Nova engage. They were looking to put pressure onto Tenno JJ under that turret. Fnatic playing a very discordant fight right now. You can see Netwillet in the fight so much longer than the rest of Fnatic. He didn't get the chance to use the fountain right there, and unfortunately, you've got to remember that you need to be very coordinated with this kind of composition. It has to be Cruel Ultimate into Core Collapse. You need to then combo that into the Holy Nova whilst everyone is already CC'd. Netwillet was just a little bit too early to the party, and Fnatic were a little bit late to react. But again, Tenno JJ stops it in his tracks with this Celeste, a pick that has been so powerful across the Unified Live Championships.
Celeste is getting pretty scary now as well. Got that clockwork, Eva Harvest, it's looking pretty good. Truth knows exactly what it feels like to get hit by one of those Heliogenesis. But the poke potential now for Fnatic is pretty strong, just on Tenno JJ alone.
Oh, yeah.
Truth too, I mean, he doesn't have the glimmer shots if he strikes those on the turret, but the problem is Tenno JJ is outranging him every single time. Maybe that's their game plan now, just outrange them.
I think that's why you go the clockwork. It's really prioritizing the poke aspect, the range aspect of this composition. You can see those supernovas really just forcing Nova to think very carefully about their positioning. And when you limit areas of the battlefield where you can and can't use as the Nova composition, you always have to be very careful about where you put your Kestrel, because she, very well, like you said, she is a very positional focused carry. So if you're starting to limit areas...
Oh, there you go. Reflex block went down and he was punished for it. Beautiful core collapse. Pick up the kill onto Truth. However, Starboy is not done. He does use that repositional tool, but no, he's going to get stunned up by the core collapse. He's going to go down almost instantaneously. Holanova caught him off guard. Fnatic finding 2 kills, they find a turret, and they might just find a gold miner as well.
There we go, Fnatic starting to come back here, giving some hope back to Europe. Not quite taking the gold lead right now, but the gold mine should secure that. They get the first turret for themselves, and are starting to make this Celeste work for them. They've got 2,300 gold in the bank. That is going to be working towards that broken myth that Tenno JJ want to finish up here.
Double monocle now finished for Truth, however, on that last death. Did manage to pick it up, but... is that going to be really enough? When does Low Delphi really spike? He's got the clockwork, he's got Shadowglass, but like you said earlier, he's just going to get outscaled. This is the big problem for him. He's just going to be a big disengage. So Palmatoro throwing out Hell's Heart. He's going to get the boomerang. No, he does not. Truth blocks it. They take the turret and are able to escape as well.
It's a bit of a fancy play from Palmatoro there, maybe expecting Truth to back off because of the engage from Fnatic, but Truth did not. He focused down the turret, made that his primary aim and got it as well, giving Nova a little bit of a boon of gold, taking them back into that gold lead advantage. Tenno JJ actually spotted out because there was a really deep scout trap onto this shopside jungle for Nova, and Fnatic have yet to clear it. It's a pretty common scout trap area, so you'd expect Fnatic eventually to sweep that out, but it does mean that they are vulnerable if they ever choose to shop, and Nova are ready to pounce on them, so they'll have to be careful about that.
Gold miner, was it secure? Yes, it was, because it's recharging now, I was going to say. Fnatic definitely needed to pick that one up. Looking at the gold lead right now, though, Nova still about 1,000 ahead. It's been tug of war between this thousands of gold, in all honesty. Just taking these turrets has really just evened it up at the moment.
So you can really see that this clockwork build on Celeste is a really good way to punish the range advantage that you get at level 8. Dienzio did it so well yesterday. Tenno JJ really making it work for Fnatic this time round. Goodness me.
Oh, from Hell's Heart is going to be blocked by Truth's reflex block. Starboy repositioning Palmatoro. Now, we talk about these differing styles with Europe and North America, and it's good to see Tenno JJ taking a leaf out of Dienzio's book on this Celeste. It's good to see these two regions actually looking at each other's play and going, you know what, actually, yes, that's really good, and just taking a leaf out of each other's
It's so interesting that you mentioned that, because Fnatic are playing a style that is very Fnatic-like. Taking very few risks, looking to play towards the late game, looking for a singular carry to step up for them and provide that insane damage. Often it's Palmatoro and Scarf. This time around it's Tenno JJ on Celeste. It's a very Fnatic playstyle, which runs its risks against these very coordinated, very on-point, mechanically intensive North American teams, because one wrong foot in the late game, no matter how good your composition is, can spell disaster.
Tenno JJ trying to get a little bit poke bound, but speaking of poke, Tenno JJ takes Palmatoro takes 2 glimmer shots and half his HP bar disappears. Tenno JJ almost fell as well. One shot, one kill. Netwillet almost ducked into it then, that would have been close. Does end up backing off though. Truth now really starting to really starting to hurt. Looking like maybe going for a bone saw here, or a
It'll be a bone saw or a tension bow. I think because of how squishy both Palmatoro feels and Techno JJ is, it might be that tension bow. That's the classic build, but bone saw will work very well as well. It gives him a bit more basic attack focus with the attack speed. Depends on how he feels these fights are going. Often, I think it feels primarily with the journey boots prioritized that he kind of wants to rush down Techno JJ and find that burst damage onto him. And Techno JJ did sell his armor in favor of a reflex block, so we'll have to see where Truth decides to complete this item.
This rising star in Truth is really making a name for himself already. He is 2 and 4, but the damage outputs in fights when he hasn't just been caught out is all too... Oh, Techno JJ caught. No, Fountain is going to come out. They're still going to go for the engage. So Storm comes through as well. Truth gets chunked out, and there is the disengage once more. One shot, one kill, going a little bit wide. That was close. Just tickle Techno JJ in the air, but now they're in a corridor. Starboy has found one, but it doesn't matter because Lone Delphi's already goes down to a Heliogenesis.
If that was Tension Bow, that would have been Techno JJ dead. That just shows you how thin the advantages are in terms of item advantage at this point in time. Techno JJ, Palmatoro, Netwallet going to start up the Kraken here as Truth decides to push the lane down. Starboy doing his best to potentially steal this one, or at least provide a nuisance.
Oh, but they have got that smite though, that's the big thing. Palmatoro, he's going to be able to stack those smite stacks up and just take it away. If he's not careful, Starboy will take it. He does get it, that was very close. Truth have used the boot those to get away. And that's an afterburn as well. Basic attack's going to follow him, but the Kraken is on the board.
Slow and methodical gameplay from Fnatic. It's very much like what we've seen from them during the European regular split. They didn't give a ridiculously overpowered composition to Nova this time round, and now Fnatic are just slowly working the game in their favor, really utilizing the major compositional advantages that they have, and Nova are finding it difficult to get an opening on Fnatic, who play a very defensive style of Vainglory.
Oh, Lone Delphi, good flare from him. It's actually going to spot out Palmatoro on the side, but that Kraken is going down rather quickly. Truth's damage really starting to stack up now, but Techno JJ's damage is equally as destructive. And the turret will go down now. An extra one here, and the Kraken's still half HP.
You can see how almost useless Lone Delphi has felt in these fights because of that pure range advantage that the Celeste has over him. There is the...
Fearsome Shade is going to just try and get a little bit of damage down to that Kraken. They need to be able to kill it. Fnatic, I think, recognizing that it is going to go down. They have got From Hell's Heart. All cooldowns are available. Starboy is low. Truth may be looking for something here, but does get spotted out. Core Collapse ends up missing. There's the From Hell's Heart. Blocked a little bit too late again. Solarsaw going through it to 3 people. Starboy, double kill for Palmatoro. Lone Delphi's going to get chased in the base as well. Death time is a huge Heroic Scoundrel, but they haven't got the minion wave.
They haven't got the minion wave. They might be able to get at least one Vein Crystal turret here. It would be a push to try and go, well, maybe they can go for the win.
I don't know. Smite is going to be really big here. Techno JJ as well. His damage is all too much. Lone Delphi finds the kill. This could be it. Fearsome Shade scaring 2 members away. Netwallet going for the recall here. Maybe feeling useless later, but he's definitely feeling it right now. Hero just to keep him in the game. Palmatoro nowhere to go. Gets executed, and they're in this game yet.
Netwallet manages to save the ace right there, but Fnatic a little bit over antsy. Forget the damage that Lone Delphi can do with those empowered bad mojos. You have to respect the Batista close range. Take a look at this. They were just really desperate for the turret, and that's where Nova thought that they could try and punish. But obviously the use of the boots there by Techno JJ allows Fnatic to reset. Truth caught out again, late reflex block. It is very hard to block a point-blank ultimate from a Cruel. And then it's just business, business, business for Fnatic. They overextend though, that was their major issue. They just overextended, they didn't have the minion wave like you said, and that came to bite them.
One more team fight in Fnatic's favor though, and that will be game over, so at least they've got that out. They can still secure it. Nova, there is a way back into the game. We've seen their engages are just too strong, it seems, for Fnatic to deal with right now. It just all relies on Netwallet hitting those cruisers.
Yeah, so the engages when Celeste wasn't level 8 were good, right? But now, ever since Celeste has been level 8, Nova have found very little opportunity to find the engages because they just don't have the ability to find the opening. Once Celeste gets Clockwork, once she's got the Eve of Harvest, she can literally litter the Halcyon Fold with these Heliogenesis, which provide areas where you just can't step because of the power of the supernova damage. So it always makes it very difficult when you're looking for an area to engage. Your options get limited due to how much work Celeste does on the map.
Truth, look at where he is. Techno JJ getting, oh, that was close. There comes the Divine Intervention, 600 HP back in his tank. Lone Delphi's going to be the target, though. He's on the front line, not where you want to be. Palmatora's going to chase him up. Fierce from Shane's going to scare Dream Evil, but it doesn't matter. The smite's going to come through and kill him. Tenno JJ still sending out that Solar Storm, but the massive stun from Truth. There's the core collapse, goes a little bit wide. Tenno JJ still in that fight. Starboy is alone, gets taken out. Palmatore finds the kill, and Truth on his last limb is running away with about 200 HP.
He went for the Bone Sword, didn't have that burst damage, and he was kind of punished in a way. He's going to try and set up again.
There he is. He's going to try and find Ned Toilette. There goes the Holy Nova, just ends up getting out. Can't quite find the kill on the Divine Intervention, but the Cauldron finds the kill. Fnatic, they find the ace, and I think they're going to end the game.
They've got a little bit of time to do so. Remember, Lone Delphi's coming up. Lone Delphi can mount a comeback if Fnatic aren't careful. Remember, when they go into turret, they go into the Batiste's playground, which is this close-range endeavor. Tenno JJ's going to get this, Jaws.
Palmatora, they are going to find that turret now. They're on the crystal from Hell's Heart's really good. They find the stun, they find the crystal, and game number 2, Fnatic tie the series up 1-1.
And again, the European team bites back at North America. Fnatic get their first game of the series.